Welcome to Chicago! Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm taking you on a trip to Chicago. I just want to show you which bookstores I visited and the books that I got. So the first bookstore I went to is actually located on Michigan Avenue. So I took an Uber ride down Michigan Avenue, which was quite beautiful because it was a sunny day. And then the actual bookstore is located inside of the Fine Arts building. So basically you enter and there's this quote above the wall that says, "Art alone endures." So the bookstore is called Exile in Bookville and it's located on the second floor. And what's nice about this bookstore is they have this setup with the floor to ceiling bookshelves, and they have a really nicely curated selection. And from their main fiction area, you can actually look out the window and see the view of Michigan Avenue with the sun shining through the windows, which is really nice. So I browsed around for a while. They have display tables as well as the floor to ceiling shelves. And I actually found quite a few books. I didn't intend to buy this many. So these are the books that I got. The first one is The Brothers Karamazov by Dostoevsky. I had been wanting to get this specific translation. This is a very nicely floppy book. And apparently people are saying that this translation is a little bit easier to read than the translations that came before. So I'm looking forward to this. I have read parts of Crime and Punishment for School, and then I read The Idiot last year. So in February of 2026, I'm planning to pick this one up. And I recently read a comment where somebody was saying this is a page turner. So I'm really looking forward to it. The next one I got is The Juniper Tree by Barbara Cummings. I haven't read any Barbara Cummings so far. This is the NYRB edition of this book. I was hesitating between this one and another one. Ended up deciding on this one, perhaps because of the cover, or perhaps also because of the blurb on the back. So hopefully this will live up to my expectations. Barbara Cummings is supposed to be this author who kind of really goes into magical realism. So I'm definitely looking forward to discovering her. Then I got Tidal Waters by Velia Vidal. This is supposed to be centered on an Afro-Colombian community, and it's a translated work of fiction. So I'm really looking forward to this because I'm looking for more Spanish-speaking, just women writers of other countries to read, like translated works by women. So this will be on that list. Then the next two were actually recommended by Books Are Sick. If you watch his videos, there's one where he recommends Hard Rain Falling by Dawn Carpenter. This is also an NYRB book, and he recommends it for rainy weather. And it's supposed to be somewhat depressing, but hopeful at the same time. So hopefully I'll like this one. Then the other one he recently recommended is Whale Fall, which takes place on a remote Welsh island, and they find a dead whale, and there's a female protagonist who's been living on the island her whole life, and she meets these ethnographers that are interested in what happened to the whale. So apparently there's a lot of descriptions of this island and the remote way of life. And I'm just very intrigued by this one, so I got this one as well. So this was my book haul from Exile in Bookville. After going to the bookstore, I couldn't resist stopping by the Art Institute of Chicago, which is across the street. So I will make sure to include a few of the paintings that I saw there before we move on to the second bookstore that I went to. So the second bookstore that I went to is called Open Books, and it has several locations throughout the city of Chicago. The location that I went to specifically is what's called the West Loop location. So you have this like area, the downtown area called the Loop, and a little bit west of that is where this one is located. One of the reasons why I decided to go there is because it's mostly a used bookstore, and one of my subscribers had mentioned that she was interested in me covering used bookstores in Chicago, so that's for you. Open Books has a lot of space. When you walk in, you get this feeling of an open area with the big windows. It's very inviting. They have display tables, which mostly showcase something that's relevant to the season. So when I was there, it was October, so they had all the spooky reads, anything to do with Victober reads, etc. So they have both a small selection of new books as well as a large selection of used books. And they even have certain collections. So they have an entire shelf of NYRBs, and they also have an entire shelf of these this other collection that's more old-fashioned. But close to the entrance, they have some of their newer books, and I ended up picking up 2 books from there. One was Near to the Wild Heart by Clarice Lispector, and I actually already bought another book of hers and I still haven't read it, so I'm looking forward to this one. This is the one where it has part of her face, and she has 3 other books that she wrote, and it's kind of like a puzzle where each book shows another part of her face so that it makes the entire face. So I figured I would start with this corner and then go from there. The other book I picked up kind of at the last minute is The Missing Girl by Shirley Jackson. And I think it just so happened that the books that I picked up were considered new, so they had a special discount going on for new books, so I got a little discount there. So that's my book haul from Chicago. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books, if you recommend any of them, if you've been to Chicago and which bookstores you visited there. I hope you enjoyed this vlog, and happy reading, everybody!